Hi, Everest here, the author of this book. I wrote this ABC book to help kids understand difficult vocabulary in science in an easy way. Untraditionally, this is a video which will make kids intrigued because it combines learning with a fun and entertaining aspect. I wanted to make this book because many children struggle with understanding key concepts in science. The purpose of this book is to have children learn in a fun environment, which is necessary for kids to remember information. People remember fun experiences and are open to learning when they enjoy what they are doing. This video is useful because kids will take these words with them for many years after listening to this. Without further ado, here is my ABC science book. A. Atomic number. The atomic number is the number on the upper left-hand corner of an element on the periodic table. The atomic number tells you how many protons are in an element. An example of this is hydrogen, whose atomic number is 1. This means that hydrogen has 1 proton. B. Bohr model. A Bohr model is a simplified model of an atom. The electron cloud model is more accurate to real life, whereas the Bohr model is better for beginners to figure out where each thing goes on an atom. The Bohr model points out where electrons, protons, neutrons, and energy rings are. C. Compound. A compound is a substance made up of 2 or more elements combined. An example of this is when sodium and chlorine combine to make salt. D. Density. Density is the concentration of the amount of things in a certain area. If there are more, the density and mass will be higher. An example of this is if you have 2 bottles, but one has water in it and the other one is empty. The one with water will have a higher density because water is more dense than air. E. Elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy is energy that is stored in an object that contains a temporary strain on it. An example of this is a rubber band that is being stretched. F. Freezing. Freezing is when an object turns from liquid to solid. An example of this is when water freezes and turns into ice. G. Groups. Groups are the columns on the periodic table. For example, carbon and silicon are both in group 14, whereas boron is in group 13. H. Homogeneous mixture. An example of a homogeneous mixture is a cup of coffee because the parts of it are not distinguishable and are not separable. I. Isotope. An isotope is an atom that has the same number of protons as its base element, but a different number of neutrons. An isotope also has a different mass than the original element because protons added to neutrons make the mass, and there is a different number of neutrons. J. Joules. Joules are a unit used to measure energy. K. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion. Everything that has motion has kinetic energy. An example of this is a pencil dropping to the ground, or a door closing, or a camera falling. All of those things. Also, potential energy transfers its energy to kinetic energy. L. Lewis dot structure. A Lewis structure is a diagram which shows an element's valence electrons. A Lewis structure is important for scientists to use because it allows them to easily look at how many valence electrons are in an element and the bonding that will ensue. M. Mass number. An atom's mass number is the number. My God, turn it off! My bad. An atom's mass number is the number on the bottom of an element on the periodic table. The mass number tells you the mass of an element, and to figure out the mass of an element, you must add protons and neutrons. N. Neutrons. Neutrons are molecules that are located in the middle of the atom, the nucleus. They contribute to the mass of an atom and have a neutral charge. O. Opposites attract. In ionic bonds, positively and negatively charged ions attract to each other. Since positive and negative are opposites of each other, this means that they're opposites attracting. P. Periodic table. The periodic table is a well-known and organized chart which lists all of the elements. On each element on the periodic table, there's the element name, the symbol, the mass number, and the atomic number. All of the elements on the periodic table are color-coded and are arranged by valence electrons and energy rings. Q. Question. It is important to ask questions in science because everything is constantly changing. Many theories get reproven or expanded on throughout history, and no new innovation can be made without new knowledge and questions asked. R. Radiation. Radiation sometimes occurs when the amount of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom are different. This causes the atom to become unstable and therefore radioactive. Nuclear radioactivity is caused when radioactivity leaves the nucleus of an atom. This type of radioactivity is dangerous, however, because it is invisible and it can melt you. S. Shell. An electron shell is the ring that holds electrons on an atom. The atom's main goal is to get a full valence shell of electrons. T. Thermal energy. Thermal energy is the energy of temperature. Atoms move faster when there is more heat and move slower when it is cooler. Anything that has temperature has thermal energy. For example, the sun has a higher thermal energy than ice cubes do. U. Unstable. Instability occurs when there's a large difference between the numbers of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. Instability can also lead to radiation. V. Valence electrons. Valence electrons are the electrons on the outermost ring of an atom. Atoms are most happy when their valence electron ring is full. The first ring of valence electrons has 2, then 8, then 8. I'm here with Kivligan.
Yep.
W.
Wind energy.
Wind energy is a renewable energy that is obtained by building wind turbines that can turn wind into electricity.
One wind turbine can generate enough energy to power 2,000 homes.
Wow. An easy way to see wind energy in action is to go sailing. X. Exothermic. An exothermic reaction occurs when energy and heat is released from something. An example of an exothermic reaction is burning a candle. Y. Ytterbium. Ytterbium is an element that is extremely hard to pronounce. Ytterbium is an element on the periodic table which was founded in 1878. It has a silverish color and is used for optical equipment such as lenses and lasers. Also, ytterbium enhances the strength of stainless steel when added. Ytterbium has 70 protons, is in group 17 and period 6, and is a lanthanide. Z. Zirconium. Zirconium is another element on the periodic table. Zirconium is a transition metal which has 40 protons and was founded in 1789. It is mainly used because of its great resistance to corrosion. It is used for making jet engines, rockets, etc. Here is some more information. Everson Leo Miles Lawrence Montebello is an up-and-coming author from the Upper West Side in Manhattan. He has only written one book, his ABC book about science. He lives with his father, mother, brother, and adorable cat. De Montebello doesn't have any awards, but he is optimistic to get one in the future. In his free time, Everson enjoys playing soccer and making videos for social media. De Montebello is starting his career earlier than most as a middle school author, which will present many opportunities in the future. Thank you. Peace out.